Agatha Christie is known as the Queen of Crime. She wrote dozens of books and short stories, often featuring the adventures of the great French detective Hercule Poirot. Her stories have been made into television shows and major movies, most recently starring Kenneth Branagh. Many of us have heard about her books like Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile, but many don't know that some of Christie's stories were inspired by archaeology. Her second husband was a fellow named Max Mallowan, who worked with the famous Sir Leonard Woolley at the city of Ur in the late 1920s and early 30s. Christie traveled with her husband, and some of the places she visited wound up in her novels. We see this in Murder in Mesopotamia. Here, her famous detective visits a dig site to investigate the death of an archaeologist's wife. Now, murder is something that has plagued humanity from the moment Cain killed his brother Abel. It isn't anything new. We find plenty of examples in history, as well as in the Bible. There was one particular murder in Mesopotamia, in real life, that occurred over 2.5 millennia ago. It was when the Assyrian king Sennacherib was killed by 2 of his sons. We see this event recorded in the Bible just after Hezekiah's unexpected victory over the Assyrian army. And that night the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. And when people arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. Then Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went home and lived at Nineveh. And as he was worshipping in the house of Nisroch his god, Adrammelech and Sharezer his sons struck him with the sword and escaped into the land of Ararat. And Esarhaddon his son reigned in his place. Sennacherib's failure to conquer Jerusalem is well known. We see it immortalized in several clay prisms that record many of the details of the event. We also see it in 2 Kings 19. The king does conquer a variety of other towns and cities during his invasion of Palestine, but he is forced to withdraw after his army is decimated. What follows can be pieced together from Assyrian sources. Sennacherib was a powerful king, but he passed over his older sons to name his youngest son, Esarhaddon, as his successor. This doesn't seem to have gone over very well, as one might expect. Now, details aren't always clear, but it seems that the sons he bypassed attempted a coup and murdered their father. These 2 sons were named Arda Mulishi and Nabushar-Utzer. In the Bible, they're called Adrammelech and Sharezer. After the 2 brothers murdered their father, they fled to the kingdom of Urartu, which is in the same general vicinity as modern-day Armenia. In the Bible, this area is called Ararat. I mention this because the Bible is often criticized as being riddled with scientific, historical, and geographical mistakes. And yet what we find over and over again is that the truthfulness of the Bible is actually confirmed when we compare it against extra-biblical records, even when it comes to events that occur in other nations. In this case, we've got a confirmation that the biblical writers faithfully reported events that happened on the international scene. This immediately sets the Bible apart from mythology, which had very little concern for historical events or geographical details, yet the Bible is filled with them. Unlike Agatha Christie's meticulously researched but fictional novels, the Bible accurately records ancient history, even when it comes to events that occurred in nations other than Israel.